Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and I'm not sure how frequent I'm going to be posting content over the next few days. I posted a post, if you will, on YouTube, but I don't think I haven't created a video in a while, and my daughter and wife are currently ill with COVID, and I assume I will be coming down with it soon, so I've been a little bit busy taking care of them. But I did have a little bit of time today, so I did want to go ahead and record some new stuff. And I was taking a look at the post and all of your thoughts on what we should play next, and we'll consider that. But I did want to jump into Cauldrons of War Stalingrad, because I haven't played this game in over a year, and the game has released, I think, one noteworthy update since then, toward the end of last year. A major new scenario, so I figured we'd go ahead and jump in and take a look, because it's a pretty quick play, I think. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna jump in and play Cauldrons of War Stalingrad as the Germans. This is a turn-based war game, if you haven't already guessed, and we're gonna play a normal difficulty, and we're gonna play Stalingrad scenario. So there are obviously 3, 6, 7 different scenarios. All of these earlier scenarios are basically, and we've played this on the channel before, but they're basically grand scenarios that look at the entire map of the Eastern Front and give you grand strategic choices as if you are sort of an overall commander of either the Soviet or the German forces. In the Stalingrad scenario, however, this is, as it says, a company scale scenario. So basically, it's more like you're the commander of the 6th Army. You're von Paulus, and you are just fighting the Battle of Stalingrad. Essentially, the Stalingrad city center from the 15th to the 25th of September. So it's a much more condensed scenario. It's going to give us a very different experience as a player than the other scenarios, which are much larger and in scope. So we'll go ahead and jump in here. You can see we've got some information here. Now, this is kind of how this game works. It gives you, between turns, you'll get different information that impacts the battle. Sometimes you have choices, sometimes they're ethical or convenience choices, and sometimes they're just military choices. In this case, you can see here, it's giving us an overview of this particular scenario. 6 armies reached the outskirts of Stalingrad. 62nd Soviet Army fought ferociously, but it's now battered and cornered in a 4-kilometer deep urbanized strip of land. It's back to the mighty Volga River. The plan is simple. Break the 62nd Army apart by pushing through the city center to the Volga. Your troops have been fighting all the way from Kharkov to Stalingrad. They are tired but confident. So we need to gain points. You gain points from 3 points for the main pier areas, 3 points for the Mamar Kurgan top, 1 for the bridge over the, whatever the name of that river is, 1 for the bridge over the Kurti Gully, 1 for the central rail station, 1 for the mouth of the same river I can't pronounce, and then another for the gully. We lose 1 point if we lose control. If we control less than 90% of the areas, we lose 2 points if we control less than 75%, and lose 3 points if the enemy still has access to the Volga. Okay, so this is where you get those choices here. So here we are, the final push toward the Volga is at hand. When we succeed, we will have concluded this great campaign, but take note, our adversary is still dangerous. A major counterattack has just been crushed by the bombs of our glorious Air Force. We must remain alert and advance with caution. The urban environment in front of our troops means each company has to advance in coordinated manner, securing the flanks of other companies as they go. Yet on ground, company commanders feel that the enemy is broken and plead with us to start a mad race toward the Volga, each Hauptmann dreaming of leading his men to victory and being the first to bathe in its waters. So we essentially have a first key choice here. We have to decide, do we want to proceed with caution, or do we want to rush the Volga? If we rush the Volga, we gain 3 command points for the first turn. Our units are lax. We lose 1 cohesion point. Defense and mop-up actions are inactive this turn. Units won't set defensive perimeters, and you can't use planned coordinated attacks. If we go with proceed with caution, we gain a cohesion point, but we don't get the 3 extra command points. The command points are kind of how you issue your orders to your different units and how you move forward. So if we go ahead and we use proceed with caution, which I think would be my recommendation, you can see here we get to the main map here of the city of Stalingrad. Again, like in the other scenarios, it's all like a high-level map of the entire Eastern Front. If we take a look here, actually, Just kind of showing you, because again, if you're not familiar with the game, if we take a look at, let's just do fall blah, 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 blah. We'll jump through here. Oh my goodness. Let's get to the map. So like, if you look at the other scenarios, these are like the entire Eastern Front, and then you have to do operations to try and get to Stalingrad over here and achieve the objectives of fall blah. But obviously in this company grade scenario, a bit of a different scenario, no pun intended, with the map being much more condensed. So you can see our troops are these blue arrows represented on the top of the map driving south toward the Volga River. These red arrows on the river, I believe, represent areas where reinforcements can come in, or perhaps counterattacks. So you can move toward the edge of the map with your mouse to move things left and right. It looks like we have 100 tanks to assign to our attacks, 100 guns, 4 sappers, and then some storm groups available. You can zoom in or out with your mouse wheel. It's not the prettiest of maps, but it'll do. The red stars represent key objective points that you're supposed to take. There's quite a few of them. And obviously, if we want to cut them off, there's oil tanks over here. There's a refinery, which I believe is like covered in smoke right now. So really, the question is, where do we want to drive? Because we only have, how many command points do we have? 6 command points here. So basically, we can issue 6 attacks this particular turn. There's an army headquarters over here to the east of the city. It looks like. Now these hills, Hill 102 is worth 3 victory points. So we do want to hold that location. And if we scroll, we can see this one's worth 1 victory location, the railroad station here. Another victory point down here, the mouth of the Tsaritsa River. And then the main pier is worth 3 points right here. And then the gully south worth 1 over here. So I think the first thing we probably should do is launch an attack on this section over here. This will secure our right flank against these enemy counterattacks, presumably. And yeah, so let's do that. So let's launch this attack against this hill, which is an objective point. We'll go ahead and click on it. You can see that our units that are in neighboring blocks are the 295th Division HQ, I think. Oh, we don't actually have any troops here. Can I assign troops? Yeah. So I can assign these troops. There's an HQ battalion, and then there's a single infantry red battalion. I might want to strengthen that attack. I don't know that I'm going to be able to take that objective with just 2 battalions of infantry. Especially when the Soviets have a tank battalion facing us. I'm not sure. I haven't played this scenario a whole bunch. So attacking on the right may be premature. What if we go for the bridge over the Tsaritsa? We have a lot more forces here. Now, some of them are tired, as represented by this heart icon, but the enemy is much weaker here. It's an NKVD unit here. It'll also secure our left flank along the left side of the map. We can advance in line here, so let's do that. No idea how many enemy. Looks like they have less than 500 troops. No idea about tanks or artillery. So we've got some fresh units here. We've got some exhausted units. The exhausted units don't I don't think they have any key advantages here. I mean, all these troops here, if you look on the left side, are pretty much all completely cohesive and have good general skills. So we'll go with a 285 infantry troops. Can we add tanks? Yes, let's go ahead and add some tanks to this unit. So we have 100 tanks to add, right? So we'll add 10 tanks, 10 guns to this battalion, and then we'll do the same. So what the fatigue level is. These guys are a little bit more fatigued, but they're also, there's more of them, so we'll do the same thing here. All right, so these two battalions have 10 tanks and 10 artillery pieces together. This allows you to set roles for nearby units to make a coordinated attack in an area. So I can do a coordinated attack, or I can just do an assault. Let's just try an assault and see if we can overrun them. Yep, we did. All right, so the first attack was successful. Protected from sight by the gully, the first assault troops advanced toward the enemy position. A hail of fire welcomes the advancing troops, but now is not the time to hesitate, as a cautious advance turns into a frantic rush toward the defenders' positions. Intense covering fire hits the defenders. Troops now engage fierce close quarter combat. Elements of the 10th NKVD Infantry Division. This unit falls back to another area, the mouth of the Tsaritsa River. The attacking troops have taken control of the area. A thorough sweep of the area will be required to eliminate any booby traps, snipers, and survivors hidden in the cellars among the rubble. So, we have successfully taken this section. We can spend a command point to fortify this against counterattack. We probably should move additional troops in here, right? It costs a command point to move troops in here? Oh, really? Well, in any event, we took this section on the map here. We probably want to take the section to its right as well, the Comasal Park, to secure our flank. But we may also want to continue the drive toward the Tsaritsa River. I could continue the assault with the troops who already attacked the previous one. They did lose about half their cohesion. Let's do this. Can we at least move these troops in? These guys should be fresh. Okay. So it didn't cost a command point. I don't know why it said 1 in parentheses. These troops in school, western suburbs, Comasal Park. Comasal Park does look like it has enemy troops there. All right, so we have 2 units here now. We have 2 units here. All right. Let's mop up with the troops that already fought. Okay, so this area is now secured, and looks like it's fortified too, based on the, I'm assuming that's what that means. The little fortify icon. Low vigilance. Huh. Okay, that's not great. In any event, we've taken this objective and we have mopped up this region, or this section. We've used 2 command points to do it. So we could make a mad drive for the mouth of the Tsaritsa River, which would be the next objective, or we could try and push to our right flank to take the Comasal Park. I'm of the mind of taking the Caucasus Park. We could go with the low vigilant troops. Have them assault out to the east. We'll do that. Oh, fuck. Another tank blows up, flames erupting the turret and smoke. 42nd Infantry Battalion falls back to another area. This movement's promptly noticed by the German dive bombers circling in the skies. Both sides retreat. It's a no man's land. Okay, so it's a contested region now. We lost 45 troops and 1 tank. We'll move our troops in. Okay, so we moved 1 infantry unit in to Caucasus Park. We'll move a 2nd unit in as well, because it was free. So we've now taken these 2 objectives here, or not objectives, but 1 objective and then 1 sort of flanking position. Okay. Just trying to see what else we'd want to try and do here. Probably go for the school, because that'll make it easier to attack the suburbs then. So here we can add tanks, guns, and just assault. We'll lose 16 troops and 1 tank. The attacking troops have taken control of the area. Okay. And then we'll use the rest of our points up by mopping up this area. So I took a very conservative approach, mopping up each area of enemy troops. I don't know whether that was really the smart thing to do. We used, what, 3 points that we could have used to keep pressing the attack. So perhaps that was unwise. Perhaps I should have gone, you know, helter-skelter and just tried to overrun them. My thought process is mainly that if we can take the left side of the map, we can flank to the east, and so slowly we took 1 objective, we can move forward and take the next, and then move to the east. But I don't know that we have enough turns. I guess we only have 10 days to do this, right? So you do need to probably be a little more aggressive than I was. In any event, that's all the command points we have for this turn, so we'll go ahead and end this turn. Stalingrad could have been time to rest and refit, but there's no timeouts in Stalingrad. The nerve-wracking sound of Soviet bombers lurking in the darkness constantly reminds the Landser that the night is not his, it belongs to the enemy. In some areas, the blaze illuminates the night skies. In the distance, a constant rumble of explosions and gunfire can be heard. By dawn, units will have been resupplied and ready for another long day of fighting. During nighttime, you can replace your worn-out soldiers. At dawn after this turn, your units will be resupplied if they're not isolated. Don't let your guard down. Element of the 13th Guard Rifle have just reached the city and have immediately been thrown into the battle. They're fresh and battle-hardened. Their arrival on the battlefield is an unwelcome surprise. To join the fight, the Soviet reinforcements have to cross the Volga, coming from the Sloboda outskirts on the eastern bank of the river to the main piers in the west. Such a crossing can only be conducted by night. We can make it extremely hazardous for them if we have well-positioned troops with a clear line of sight to the Volga. Repulse the guards and hold the piers before the Soviets can bring in more troops into the city. Well, I don't think I've got the ability to do that. I guess this is the nighttime phase. So presumably I can bring up some reinforcements here. Alright, defensive perimeter established. Western burbs and the school. So I can move. Where are these guys? So I can't move anybody into this section. Commissal Park. Oh, this is 70. So we can move them to the school or the western suburbs. Where the hell's the western suburbs? Is that technically where we're at? No. That's over here. Is this area empty? Alright, if we reinforce these troops. Sometimes difficult to find your way around the combat zones. Okay. Well, they lose some cohesion, but they do take one of these objectives. Take this gully as well. So we're advancing freely into a couple of border hexes, if you will, to push toward the river. Okay. Now the suburbs have... I could launch an assault at night. I don't know that that's a good idea. I think it's a better idea to get some of these troops refit and see, it says their fatigue level is really high, but I mean, I still want to get them in there, I guess. I need the frickin' troops. Alright, so we'll reinforce this section. Our flanks are a little bit vulnerable to counterattacks. If they were a little more vigilant. Alright, let's end the turn. We control the sky, so that's good. Okay. Fighting north of the city's been intense, and maintaining control of the strategically important hill is hard to achieve. More men are also needed to isolate the center of Stalingrad from the factory area. Top of all of this, the Von Don Isthmus has to be guarded and under constant pressure from the Soviets. So we can get a Fusilier regiment with 3 companies. Make do with what we have. I understand the big picture. Make do with what we have. Alright. So are these troops ready? These guys got resupplied. In theory, we could push to the mouth of the river. Looks like there's at least 2 Soviet units there. Railroad station appears to be fortified. We've not even really looked at those heights since that first day. Do I even have the troops to assault it, though? I've got 1 unit here. That's not enough. North. So we've got an armored unit and an infantry unit here. Okay, we're gonna really buff up this unit because what else can we do? We'll try shelling. Alright, they have a tank battalion and an infantry division here. So we inflicted pretty heavy casualties on them with the initial round of shelling. And a coordinated assault. This unit will assault. So we'll launch 2 regiments forward here to assault. We'll shell once more. 4 more tanks, 21 more troops. And then we'll launch the assault. And that attack failed, I think. 10 troops, 5 tanks, 167 troops. So we wiped out the enemy tank battalion. So we did wipe out the enemy tank battalion, but we were repulsed. We'll launch another infantry assault here, and the enemy withdraws. Okay, so that was probably stupid. I wasted the entire day of the 15th without any of my troops on the western side of the map, which I had prioritized for day 1, attacking. And I focused all my energy on the right flank, trying to take the Dolly Gully north to hopefully open up the ability to hit the hills over here from 2 sides. It is 3 victory points, but I need to take more of the city, so that was a wasted turn. You really, and in this game, you cannot afford to waste turns, really. Now, we did manage to get in there and take that sector of the map. Gully north. So in theory, we could attack this hill tomorrow from 2 directions, but I don't know that we'd have the troops to take it. Western suburbs. Do we have the ability to put more troops in here? We do. Another unit to the western suburbs. I think I can bring one of those units over. Okay. So my western suburbs still have a unit. I now have an additional unit moving east to protect here. So we still have a solid front. Western suburbs. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, I don't think they're launching any counterattacks against us yet. Is there anything I need to do for these guys, like to prepare them for an assault? South of Lunsky. I mean, I could advance in the night. Just don't know that it would be wise. I'm so goddamn conservative. So, probably going to try and launch an attack on the railroad station tomorrow. These troops need tanks and guns. Maybe sappers too. I don't have a ton of sappers to spend. Apparently you can burn and withdraw, which feels like it would probably be more useful for the Soviets than me, but... So if I move to the suburbs, is this a night attack then? Oh, that'd just be an assault. And you can't do coordinated assaults at night. What if we... One of our smaller units. I wish we could shell at night. But let's just launch an attack on the suburbs and see what happens. We took control of the area, you say? Huh. So we took casualties, but we did drive the enemy back. We took control of the area. So I guess the school, we want to pull these troops forward then. It's a free pass. Okay. And then we probably want to mop up, right? So mop up and secure that area. The suburbs here. So we did take the suburbs at night. So that shows us we can launch some effective attacks at night. We did make some progress then on the night of the 15th in the west. And then this one unit back here at the school... Maybe we want to move them to the western suburbs so we can launch the drive on the gully and then the junction over here. Is it the school again? Yeah, it's the school. Oh, but I don't have the points to move them. Okay. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and end this turn. Coordinated planned assaults. How to set? Okay. Support units will suppress enemy fire while assault units attack. Reserve units will then participate if the assault stalls. Okay. Alright, so it is... We have 6 command points again. It is daytime now. They're continuing to fortify the mouth of this river. Railway crossing looks empty. So that's a tempting place to advance. Especially if it means we could launch an assault from 3 directions. Can we bring in these troops that are back here in the school still for free? So we can pass through them to here. And then... move them into the railway crossing. No command points are expended because they moved swiftly and without resistance. So in theory, we can launch an attack on the railway station from 3 directions, which would be awesome. So let's do that. That's another objective point for us. So if we click here, the Suburbs are here, so we're going to go ahead and use this unit. We're going to launch a planned coordinated assault. These guys have 2 tanks, but they're fresh. These guys have 5 and 5. All right, so the railway crossing troops for sure are going to be in on the assault. As well as these troops. Come Assault Park also be in the assault. Oh, wait, no. These guys should be in the reserve. The guys with sappers will be in the assault. And then this unit in the reserve or in the suburbs will be support. So we'll have 1 support unit coming out of the suburbs straight on in. We'll have an assault unit coming from the suburbs and the railway crossing on the right flank. We'll have an assault unit coming on the left flank over here with sappers, and then we'll have a reserve unit over there as well. For good measure, we will shell for 1 turn. So the 244th Infantry Division, 907th Regiment suffers heavy losses and severely disorganized. They lose 1 gun. And they lose 51 troops, and then we'll assault. Do we not take the position? Precise anti-tank fire knocks out armor 1 by 1. 5 troops, 2 tanks, 4 troops, 4 tanks, 1 troop, 3 troops, 1 tank. Mines. Huh. Their tank blows up. The assault has been repulsed. What the fuck? But the defenders are wiped out? So the enemy withdrew because... or the enemy was wiped out, but the assaulting troops didn't feel they could hold the position from a counterattack. Screw that, boys. Get the hell in here. What is this, the railroad station number 1? Can you not move there? I'm confused. All right, so we took the objective. The suburb unit. Railway crossing. I'm kind of confused why they don't have the option to move there. Do they not have... Okay. Doesn't make any sense to me, but okay. It says they don't have the, they can't advance into that section, I guess. Do we have to fortify? Do we have to mop up, maybe? So spend a point mopping up. It doesn't look like it makes a difference. Okay. In any event, we fortified the position. What troops do we have defending here? They've got anti-tank guns on a few, and not many infantry. Also, apparently they have low vigilance, which isn't great. Right, let's move troops. If we can move them freely. Come Camisol Park, is that? Yeah. Okay, so we moved through and took the hex. Probably should move up the other troop in the Camisol Park, maybe. Troops progressed quickly with no problems. Apparently there's massive fires in this street here. Now these guys might be in a vulnerable spot. I'd like to fortify them, but that would cost the last point I have for the day. I'd like to reinforce them, but I don't really have the troops to do it. These suburb troops can move either Camisol Park. Camisol Park would be here. I don't want to do that. Railway crossing's not a bad idea. Okay. So it gives us, I guess in theory, this section is exposed if there's a flank from attack from here. But that shouldn't matter. So now we have 2 regiments in the railway crossing hex. We could try and move to the whatever this street name is. Like, I don't know where all their troops are. We were also, as a reminder, looking at launching a coordinated assault here. Which I think I pulled the troops out of the suburbs, which could have helped. I don't think we can do more than 1 coordinated assault in a day. So let's just try and assault with the strongest unit I have and see how it goes. I could shell, but that would create other problems. So let's just go ahead and give these guys additional tanks, guns, sappers. I didn't quite mean to assign that many, but 15 tanks, 15 guns, and some sappers. Doesn't leave me a lot of reserves. There's 15 of each and then 1 sappers here, but let's see if these uber equipped troops in this kind of understrength sized battalion, if they can take it. Yeah, the attacking troops have taken control of the area. And the defending regiment was wiped out. There you go. So we took another objective here. I don't have any points to do any mop-up work, but at least for the moment, the Crode Gully has fallen to us. It'd still be nice to take this hill. In theory, I can attack with 2 units there, so maybe some heavy artillery fire would be a good idea there on another turn. Western Burbs. Where do these troops want to move? So there's 2 units in the Western Burbs, but probably move those guys in, maybe. Maybe move them forward to support the advance in the center of the city. I'm really running short of troops. Those 3 extra companies would have been really nice. Night of the 16th to the 17th. Soviet counterattack here. Looks like it failed. 46 Soviet casualties versus 34 Germans. But you can see here there was an assault. If I move these guys Western Burbs to the Burbs. No points used. Can they move twice? I really don't understand why they can't, like, What's the access point for troops coming in here? I don't understand it. All right, these are fresh enemy troops. You can do coordinated assaults at night, huh? Those guys are exhausted and need reinforcements. Yeah, it's like you can't move into secured regions. Maybe they're not secured. Maybe that's what the difference is between the strong gray and the light gray. Although it doesn't look like it. I'm not sure. Shell those guys. Those 120 men. Wow. Second shelling round only inflicts 14 casualties. All right, that's the end of that turn. So they've fortified this section. I wonder how many troops they have left. It claims they have under 100. All right. 2 battalion attack on the east of railroad number 1. Did I just screw that up? What the fuck did I just do? I just wasted a point to no purpose? Pretty sure I just wiped my own unit out there. More than 100 men is all we know. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't seem like the war is going very well for us so far. We've taken a good chunk of the left section of Stalingrad, but now we're running into fortified positions for the enemy. Our shelling can inflict some heavy casualties, but obviously it still takes effort and time. And then we still have to try and overrun the remaining troops, which this last turn proved can be elusive. You know, there's gaps and holes in the city where you can advance without too much problems, but then there's obviously other places where things are not quite as simple. I wonder if... And they're going to counterattack here again. It failed. But yeah, they did. Also, it looks like they retook the bridge over the Krotai Gully. So yeah, we lost some 50 troops and some almost 10 tanks and 7 guns, and they lost only 67 troops and 6 tanks. So they were able to retake this position. Can we counterattack again? We can shell. We can't assault. Not this turn anyway. At least, and maybe they didn't take the position. Yeah, they didn't. They drove us back, and then I guess they didn't occupy it. So we're able to retake it right away. What if we shell this position here? What do I have guns to do it? So like, let's just shell it. Almost 300 casualties inflicted. Okay. A relief attempt. A violent Soviet offensive has just begun on the northern flank of our forces in Stalingrad. Push on anyway. All right, so we launched a ferocious artillery bombardment, shelling it 4 times or 3 times. We're going to try and take Hill 102 now. Planned coordinated assault from 2 directions. Both units are going to be assaulting units. And go. We took the position. We wiped out both enemy units, the motorized brigade and the infantry division. I guess that's what happens when you fire that many artillery rounds off. But that is worth 3 victory points. Hill 102. Probably not worth the delay of 3 or 4 full-blown assaults, if you will. Northern Crotai Gully should really... We really need to move the unit from the northern gully over to this whatever. To make sure that our flank isn't open for them to advance into it. We can still attack this junction here. Okay. And that's all my command points. So no attacks on the left flank this turn. But we did take a key objective. Looks like a major counterattack as far as I can tell. So we inflicted over 200 casualties on troops crossing the Volga. And I wonder if that's because we just took the high ground, if that's the logic there. Meanwhile, shelling on the heights we just took, we lose about 60 casualties. They also tried to counterattack there and failed. So we do hold the high ground here for the moment. No attempt to take this bridge, which they attacked last turn, but no attempt there tonight. Okay. I'm surprised that, like, when you sit for a couple days, troops don't get any rest, I guess. We'll take that. We'll advance here. Try and move these troops up. They're fresh. They haven't been used at all. Okay. Okay, moved them forward 3 times now. I don't know what impact the massive fires have. It prevents occupation and moving through the zone. Okay. God, some of the sound effects, I don't know if you can hear them very well, sound more like a U-boat, like creaking and crawling. So, can we not move in here then? Yeah, looks like we can't. Oh man, I've been going for almost an hour. Okay, so we've taken a couple more objectives in this nighttime phase. So it looks like there's some new offensive tactics, but you can see we're gradually taking the western portion of the map. Again, the objectives are what matters. So we've taken the one objective of the bridge over the Tsaritsa. We haven't taken the main pier or the mouth of the Tsaritsa River. Trying to see where the other objectives are. We have taken the bridge over the Korte Gully, but not the Korte Gully Junction. We have taken Hill 102. So we've got a fair amount of victory points, but probably not enough yet for a major victory or anything like that. With that being said, guys, I think that is going to do it for this episode. I hope you guys did enjoy it. It's kind of a slow pace, like, I know, nothing super exciting or whatnot. Let's actually, before we go, the mouth of the river, gullies, civilian population, heavily fortified zone, tunnels and trenches, mines. Okay. Let's go for it anyway. So we've got 6 points. Shell these guys 3 times. No, we'll do 4 times. You can obviously see that, no, we may not even be able to attack anymore. It says there's heavy fires. So we shelled them 4 times. Now we're going to plan a coordinated assault. I don't know really how much better supporter of those other things are in an assault, so I'm just doing what I can. Assault from all 3. Attack. Did we lose one of our units wiped out? Oh, it's a 10th NKVD wiped out. NKVD wiped out. So we did wipe out 2 enemy units. Oh, it looks like we actually took the objective. So that shelling worked. That a massive amount of artillery, we wiped out 2 enemy defensive units. And in theory now we could go straight for the main pier now, which is a major objective as well. Worth 3 points. Although I don't really want to attack with 1 unit there. I'm guessing it's a very strongly held position. But it is, you know, that's progress. We could probably flank and maybe try and cut the pier off from getting troops into these northern objectives too, but that'll be for another time. Let me know if you guys want to see me finish this up. This game is Cauldrons of War Stalingrad. This is the Stalingrad scenario, and the game is available on Steam. Link in the description if you're interested. But until next time, guys, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you for tuning in, and until next time, I'm out.